Alright, so now we're going to discuss using glossaries, and so you need to go ahead and go to your course page and click on the glossary you created, and you should be taken to a screen that looks like this. And up at the top, you're going to have your description that you entered in. You have a search box where you can search for different terms. You can search full text or just parts. Search full text means that you can search either the word or in the text, like the definition as well. And I have four tabs: browse by alphabet, browse by category, browse by date, and browse by author. Each of these just allows me to browse, obviously, by a different thing. Most of the time, you'll probably be browsing by alphabet. You'll notice that you have this linked list of letters here. All is currently selected, so if I chose A, then it'll only show glossary entries that were A. Special means special characters such as question marks and accent marks and so on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add an entry. So I'm going to click on add new entry. And concept is essentially the term. So we're going to say binary. And a system of ones and zeros that helps a computer function. Alright. And note that I can insert pictures and bulleted lists, numbered lists, all that kind of stuff. Keywords are kind of like search terms, so binary, computer, and notice I separate them by commas, system. These are all words that are related to the concept binary. So if a student searches for something but they can't remember binary, but they remember it has something to do with computers, they could type in computer, and this is one of the terms that would come up. Note you can also add attachments, so you could add a PowerPoint or a file related to this particular term. Once we're done, we click on Save Changes. And you'll notice that now binary is in here. Notice that if I click on A, binary no longer appears because it's not showing all the entries, it's only showing entries for A. If I click all, then I now see it again. If I click on B, I'll still see it as well. And if I click on all again, then it has the entire list. Now you'll notice that I have the term, the definition, and I have different keywords associated with it that I entered earlier. If I want to update or change this, I can click on the edit hand here, or I can delete it by clicking on the delete X. Note also that I have comments that can be added as well. So if I want to add a comment, I can say this is similar to a switch. I can click on save comment, and there's my comment now. So students can actually go and comment on this and add their own personal thoughts and information to the glossary as well. Notice that I also have rating turned on for this. Now since it's my own entry, I can't rate my own entry, but other students would see a rating box here where they could actually rate this entry as to how accurate it was or whatever criteria you specify. Note that I can browse by category. And right now I don't have any categories, so if I want to add a category, I can click on edit categories and click on add category, and we're going to call this one computers. So anything related to maybe computers would be would occur in this category. You could also call this chapter 1 or chapter 2 or however you want to do that, so that you could specify a more generic term that a lot of terms would fall under. I can choose auto linking, which basically means anytime the keyword or the word computers is used, then it'll automatically be added to this category. I'm going to leave this as no for right now. Click on Save Changes. And let's add another category, and let's call this Unit 1. And click on Save Changes again. So I have a few different categories. Notice I can edit them by clicking on the hand or delete them by clicking on the X. I'm going to click on Back now. You'll notice there's no entries in the category, so I have computers, unit 1, and I have not categorized. So I'm going to click on not categorized. And you'll notice that binary is not part of a category. And so what I want to do now is I want to actually go and add that to a particular category. So I'm going to click on the edit hand here. And you'll notice that now I have the categories listed, so I can choose computers or unit 1. If I want to choose 2, I hold down the shift key and then it can go into both. If I only want to choose 1, I just click on 1. So I'm going to add these to actually both of these and click on Save Changes. And now if I go to Browse by Category, I have all categories listed, but if I go to Computers, it'll pull up just terms that are in the Computers category. And if I want to do just Unit 1, then it'll pull up just terms related to Unit 1. It's a really good idea if you can to set up all your categories before you add your terms. That way when you add them, you can actually go in and add them to the categories as you add the terms. Also important, if you decide to import terms, then you'll want to make sure you have the category set before you import the terms. It makes it a little bit easier as well. Notice I can also browse by date, which allows me to sort them by last update or by creation date by simply clicking on these links, and it'll see the most recent terms or the terms in order by their creation date, depending on which link I click. Notice that if I click on this link, now it's going to sort them last update changed to ascending, so that's going to be the most recent to the oldest, and if I click on it again, it's going to do oldest to most recent, and then by creation date, once again, I can sort it most recent to oldest and vice versa. If I want to, I can also browse by author. So this now goes by the student's last name or first name, and notice I can click sort by surname or first name. Most of the time you'd want to click by surname. This way if you're wanting to go see what students have added, but you don't have really a rating system, you just want to see what terms they added, you can go and see the list of all the terms they've added and what they have, any comments that are related to it, and what ratings they've gotten here. So those are the different ways you can actually search through and use the glossary. Students will see the same view. The only difference is they won't be able to add categories. They'll be able to browse by them, but they won't be able to add them. They will have the add new entry button where they'll click and add entries. One other important thing to note, if you notice a little printer icon up in the top right hand corner, that generates a printer friendly version for the students. So if they want to browse by a specific author like themselves and then print out the terms that they did, then they could do that, or they could print out the entire glossary if necessary. So that's very useful to make it easy for them to gain access to it outside of Moodle if they need to.